Hey guys, welcome into my brand new channel where I'm going to be talking about all things The Last of Us and Naughty Dog. So that means I'll also be doing videos on the HBO show that's coming out in a couple days, Factions 2 coming later this year, and maybe a new IP that Naughty Dog is creating. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into this video. So in today's video, we are actually going to be talking about Frank from The Last of Us and some of the stuff that you may not know about in the game. The inspiration for today's video about Frank is, of course, from the HBO show, which is going to be premiering in about like 5 days, I think it is. And it's going to be telling a much more in-depth story of Bill and Frank than what we got in the game, which I am so stoked for. I'm so excited. And by the way, I will be probably, most likely, posting my reactions of the show on here. So if you guys are reaction fans, definitely subscribe for that, because I will be posting my reactions. Alright, so if you do not know, which I don't honestly understand why you'd click on this video if you didn't know who Frank was, but if you do not know who Frank is, Frank is Bill's lover from the original Last of Us Part 1 that we find out had committed suicide after he got bit by infected trying to leave Bill's town. Now, actual fun fact here, some people may not know this, but the first time you hear about Frank is not in Bill's town, which I know a lot of you guys are saying right now, like, what are you talking about, bud? Frank is introduced to us by Bill. What are you, stupid? Well, listen here, my dumb friend, and listen well when I say we actually were introduced to him in the subway tunnels after Joel and Ellie escaped from the Capitol building. And some of you guys might still be confused, or some of you already knew this and connected the dots long ago. But anyways, there is a letter that you find off of Smuggler's skeleton that reads the following. Okay, so the first two lines here are the most important when it says, "Your contact is a dude named Frank. He's the guy on the outside I've been trading with." Now, we know Bill is a smuggler in the game, and he trades with Joel and Tess and probably, any other people from the QZ. So since Frank is Bill's lover, it would be very safe to assume that he probably takes part in these trades, and also would trade his own things to the same or other people in the QZ. And that's how this kind of all comes together. And I really love how Naughty Dog can create a world filled with detail and stories about how people other than the main characters interacted in the game. Anyone using some common sense can see that Naughty Dog intended for these two events to be related. At the end of Bill's chapter, we find Frank's suicide letter left for Bill, describing in detail that he did not want to be around Bill or even in his town, so much so that he would have rather die than spending another day with him. So, connecting the dots from one letter to the other, it says in the smuggler's letter that he is kind of annoyed that his contact, which is Frank, didn't show up, which, connecting some more dots, is because he died trying to leave the town. Now, this is a pretty tragic story that Naughty Dog tells in the game, and it makes it even more sad when we get to the church where Bill stays at, and we see after all the time that Frank has been gone, he still kept Frank's spot at the dining room table, and his bed was also still in the room that they slept in. He was really hoping that Frank would come back, but we all know that didn't happen. R.I.P. to Frank. I also expect for them to make their story even more tragic in the HBO show, with us getting a whole episode that will mainly be about them with a runtime of about 80 minutes. So I'm pretty pumped for them to show us what they got in this new HBO show. And guys, this is just one example of the many amazing details that Naughty Dog put into this game to really ground out and connect the world of Last of Us and make it such a well-rounded story-based game. And honestly, these are the kind of things that make this one of my favorite games of all time. There's never going to be another game that can top this in my eyes. But if Naughty Dog continues to put this kind of detail into their future games, it's going to be hard for me not to enjoy them. And coming back to the HBO series, in an article from the Hollywood Reporter, it is stated that episode 3, that is going to be mainly about Bill and Frank, will have some radical changes to the game story that will shock and perhaps challenge fans. Looking back at the footage real quick and slowing it down, you can see that Bill has a gunshot in his stomach. And it looks like it could be pretty fatal, but it also looks like it could just be a stab wound that might not be that bad. But with the article from the Hollywood Reporter saying that this series would radically change the game's story, I think that we could definitely see the end of Bill in this episode, in the third one. I mean, what could be more radical than killing off a character that, to this day, everybody thinks is still out there surviving? But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you guys think that they're going to do with Bill and Frank. Alright guys, before this video ends, I just wanted to, say something to wrap it up. Even though I just sat here praising Naughty Dog for the game that they came out with for the past 6 minutes, there are some things that, I really didn't like about the remake that came out last year, and that is going to be in my next video. So if you guys are interested in that, subscribe, stay for some more content, and I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you later.